All right, time for another Joshcast that I'm doing on Monday. Surprise, surprise, questionable bowel morning. It all went wrong with those mashed potatoes on Saturday. Still not recovered from that. Probably didn't help that I had Thai food with a lot of peppers yesterday. Overall, just not being very, health conscious. Just not being very smart in my meal planning here. That's my current situation. Just not using wisdom. Not using the wisdom of nature. You know, man, you got to use the wisdom of nature. You've got to listen to your body. Your body is trying to tell you something. Your body, your intestines are writing an essay about what you should or should not be doing. And the question is, are you going to read that essay? The pain that you are feeling right now is a poem that your intestines have written about the choices you're making. Read the poem, man. See the rhymes. Understand the rhymes of the poem of your intestines. It's not that hard to rhyme with poo-poo. That took a weird turn. It did take a weird turn. I don't know. The last Zoom open mic I did, I don't feel good about. Though one could say that I don't feel good about any of them. But so now I'm going to be in a bad mood until I can do an open mic again and do well. That's how my life is. And I spent all day yesterday putting subtitles on one of my stand-up clips and posting that online, because that's all we do. We're a one-person network. That's what we, that we are a one-person network. That's what all of us are. Joshua Snyder Network. And there should be Joshua Snyder Sports and Joshua Snyder Movie of the Week and Joshua Snyder Stand-Up Clip of the Week. That's what it should be. That is truly what it should be. Actually, that's not what it should be. What am I saying? It's a lot of work to do all of that. Like this. This right now is taking work. I don't even know if I should be doing 2 podcasts a week. I don't know if I have the energy to do 2 podcasts a week. What am I going to talk about? All I'm going to do, it's going to get to the point where all I have to talk about in these podcasts is making podcasts, because there will be nothing else in my life. Now, in all fairness to that last statement, I wouldn't really be doing much of anything else anyway. I don't know where I would go if I were to take a vacation right now. I don't want to go anywhere. I barely want to go places when everything is open and there's not a pandemic. And maybe the problem is, it's not that when I think about my fantasies, maybe the issue with the vacation is that there's not enough of, like in my fantasies, it's not that I just go to Italy. It's that I've just fought in the war and I've become injured and I'm nursed back to health by a beautiful Italian woman on a vineyard. So you can't really, that's not really a package you can get through a travel agent. And by the way, it's a fantasy, it's not real. I don't want to actually be in a war. Let's just make that clear. That is not my intention. That is not what I'm interested in doing. It is a fantasy. But that said, the reality, I don't know, to just go to Italy, I'm sure would be wonderful. I'm sure it would be a life-changing experience. Or would it? My grandparents went all over the place. And I say this from a place of love, but I don't know that they came back Oh, that really changed my life. I mean, they came back and they had just more slides. I'm sure it did change their life. I'm sure the experience really helped them sell draperies in a way that they would never been able to sell draperies before had they not gone on vacation. It really gives you a different perspective. That's somebody on a podcast I listen to. Everyone should travel because it gives you a perspective. I don't even know what voice this is. It's not much of a voice. Traveling, it gave me a perspective. I took a 1 month trip to Arvada, Colorado, and I learned something. You know, my entire life I'd never left Littleton, Colorado. But I spent the better part of a month in Arvada, Colorado, and I didn't think, for instance, that you could run a Panda Express on the second floor of a mall, and yet you can. And it really opened my eyes to the possibilities. All right, everyone knows that's not the kind of vacation people are talking about when they tell me that I should take a vacation. I get that. I totally get that. I am very tired this morning. I didn't really sleep that much last night. I've been binge watching Rick and Morty. I basically blew through the first season. It's a really funny show. It's a very funny show. I only have one complaint. I don't like that Rick has alcohol or what is it? Drool on the bottom of his face. It bothers me. It's just an irritant, and it doesn't make sense because it's animated, number one, so it's not real drool, but it irritates me every time I see it. This has been a thing I've had in preschool. I remember I'm sitting next to this girl and she has a little piece of food on the corner of her mouth, and I interrupted the class because I was crying, screaming. And the teacher's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, she's got food on her face. Are we not going to do anything about this? I know we're in preschool, but I thought the point is to train us to not be animals. Which is very hypocritical because I did remember I bit people in preschool. Like I was an animal in preschool. But when it came to a clean face, man, I was the equivalent of a Victorian British royalty when it came to making sure that my face was clean and there was not food on my face. But I got really upset. I had a meltdown in class because she had food on her face. Being stuck, surrounded by these cretins. It really was, one could argue that it was a Stewie Griffin moment. Pardon me, I'm eating a little bit of the egg bites that I get at Starbucks. Probably not going to help my bowels. Nothing helps my bowels. I just have to let it work itself out. That's what has to happen. I think there's going to come a point where collectively, I think it's going to happen collectively. And I think it's going to happen maybe, I want to say 2025, 2026, where all podcasters on the same day, I think it's going to be a Sunday night, 9 p.m., Maybe 9:05 p.m. because Sunday night, 9 o'clock on the dot, that would just be ridiculous. But Sunday night, 9:05, maybe 9:06 p.m. Pacific time. All podcasters on Earth are collectively going to say, I have nothing else to talk about. We have nothing, everything that we can talk about, we've talked about. And anything new is not that new. Nothing is new. How many Batman movies are there going to be before the end of civilization? How many Spider-Man movies are there going to be before there is no longer a human race? It's hard. That's a hard question to answer because there may not be a human race in 10 years at the rate we're going with destroying the environment. So that sounds like, 2 to 4 more Spider-Man movies. But if by some miracle we do manage to not destroy ourselves and we endure as some kind of civilized society, I mean, there could be hundreds, thousands of It could get to the point where there's Spider-Man festivals like Shakespeare festivals, and every year there's another one. Multiple festivals. Elementary school kids, teenagers doing workshop productions of Spider-Man. Every actor will want to play Hamlet and Spider-Man. I'm sure they'll find a way to fold Hamlet into the Marvel Universe. Not sure why anyone would want Hamlet on the team. Guys, are we sure that Thanos is really the bad guy here? Are we absolutely sure? You're overthinking it, Hamlet. Maybe we're the bad guys. Maybe society's to blame. Oh, God damn it, Hamlet. And somebody get Mark Antony. We need Mark Antony. Mark Antony and the Avengers. That's right, I'm adding the chewing in this podcast. What else should I talk about? Taking a swig of tea, green tea, has antioxidants. They're good for you. I don't know if they're enough to help you turn the tide. I mean, are antioxidants good for me? You know what I've never heard? Well, he almost died, but fortunately, we were able to get the antioxidants to him in time. I've never heard that. He was about to fall off the cliff. But fortunately, we injected him with some antioxidants, and it gave him the strength to climb back off of that cliff. You know who antioxidants are good for? The people who sell tea. Coffee bean and tea leaf. They were on the brink. But then this antioxidant thing came along. And now they're back on the map. I wonder if gangsters have ever dealt with tea. There is an HBO BBC co-production of a movie right there. Gangsters and Tea. Starring Joe Mantegna and Judi Dench. There's a tea company, and it's on its way out. It makes tea in a small London suburb. It's getting beaten out by the giant tea manufacturers, and so they team up with the mob. And the mob starts rubbing out these other tea manufacturers. And suddenly the tea sales are going up, and Judi Dench's character she thinks it's because Joe Mantegna is really he has some because she thinks that the reason why the tea sales are going up is because Joe Mantegna has introduced antioxidants into the marketing campaign for the tea, when in reality, he and his guys are going around killing rival tea company people. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, even though the mob's in it, it's a romantic comedy, so it somehow ends up with a happy ending, even though it involves the mafia. Yeah, that movie just writes itself. Taking another swig of tea here. Seeing who is interested in listening to my podcast. So I record this on my phone. I'm sure you can tell by the terrible sound quality. And I record in my office right before work at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant, which is right next to Cookie Dough Dreams, which has been they sell cookie dough, hence the name Cookie Dough Dreams. Though I'm sure at least one person has come in saying, do you sell dreams about cookie dough that you can implant into me, a.k.a. like Total Recall? And they've said, no, that's not what we do. We sell cookie dough. We just thought the name would evoke a magical feeling of cookie dough. That's why we added the word dreams to it. And because there's a slight alliteration with the Cookie Dough Dreams. But no, we do not implant the dream of cookie dough into your subconscious, a.k.a. like Total Recall. I'm sure that conversation has happened at least 50 times over there. But the point I'm trying to make is that even though Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant has been around for 10 years now, and we have a presence on Google, when I'm recording this on the app tries to pick up my location, and it keeps thinking I'm recording this from Cookie Dough Dreams, and I'm not. I just want to assure the good people at Cookie Dough Dreams, in case they're looking at the metadata on this, that I am not breaking into Cookie Dough Dreams and recording the podcast from inside of Cookie Dough Dreams, because that would be weird and really not beneficial. And I'm a huge cookie dough fan. Can't eat it right now because I'm having a bowel crisis. Maybe one day when things calm down a little bit down there, I will indulge myself. Still don't know when the club can open for shows yet. I have 2 2021 calendars on my door, and I haven't written much of anything on it. I hope we will be able to open soon. They say that about 40 to 50% of people over 70 have been vaccinated, and I think that's like 70% of hospitalizations are people that age. So I'm hoping this will be the beginning of a beautiful, beautiful thing. That is what I am hoping, my friends. That is what I am hoping. I feel a little bit better. See, if nothing else, even if nobody listens to this podcast, I feel better. And isn't that what's important at the end of the day? That I've done something to feel better about myself. This is self-medication. Some people do cocaine. Some people do podcasts. Unfortunately, the people who do cocaine probably have enough energy to build a career out of it. Whereas the people who only do podcasts and not cocaine do a podcast for years that averages 12 viewers. So I think the answer to this is I need to do cocaine. That is not the answer. We all know that. We all know that is not the answer. All right, well, this felt good. I'm feeling good about this.